Welcome to a special Paschal edition of This Week in Orthodoxy, the world's only online video newscast focused on events in the life of the Orthodox Church. I'm Emmy Louveris. In news from around the globe, we're featuring some of the images and footage from Holy Week and Paschal celebrations that you've sent us. We'll begin in Houston, Texas, with images from St. Basil the Great Greek Orthodox Church of the Kouvouklion, a canopy decorated with flowers from Great Friday representing Christ's tomb. Moving overseas and further south to a mission church in Melbourne, Australia. This is a brand new English language Orthodox community that celebrated its very first Pascha this year. Without a church of their own at the moment, they're worshiping in one of the religious colleges near University of Melbourne. And to another mission field where Orthodoxy is taking root, St. Luke Orthodox Church in Hong Kong. An international manufacturing center, St. Luke has a multicultural congregation coming from many countries. A substantial amount of English is spoken in the service as it is considered a universally acquired second language. Jumping across the globe to the city of Izmir, Turkey, the site of one of the most catastrophic fires in Hellenic modern history. The city of Smyrni, as it was called then, was burned to the ground in a 10-day scourge in September of 1922, resulting in the displacement of thousands known as the exchange of populations. For the very first time, in 92 years after that event, the Greek Orthodox population was allowed to hold the traditional public procession of the Epitaphion on Great Friday through its streets. And in another Turkish-occupied area on the northern site of the island of Cyprus in the medieval center of Famagusta, another amazing milestone occurred as the 14th century church of Agios Georgios Exorinios was able to hold services for Great and Holy Friday for the very first time in 60 years. In a ceremony made possible because of grassroots efforts led by Muslim and Greek Orthodox clergy and everyday citizens, Turkish Cypriot Umit Inatsi handed the key of the church to the city's Greek Orthodox Metropolitan Vasilios, saying, "This is not a gift, it is something that is surrendered to its owner." And moving to images from the Divine Liturgy celebrated on Saturday morning, sometimes referred to as the First Resurrection or the Little Resurrection. This was actually the original liturgy for Pascha as it was celebrated in the ancient church. One of the more popular parts of the service is the chanting of "Arise, O God," a verse from the Psalms, during which time the priest will scatter bay leaves or in some places holy water. It's also common for people to make some joyful noise. In Greece, there are various traditions, including ringing bells and breaking pots. And in the Syrian town of Latakia, the men make even more noise by firing their guns into the air, as is customary for any major celebration. Speaking of noisy traditions, the island of Chios was once again in the news this year because of its long-standing practice of firing thousands of handmade rockets and fireworks starting around 10 p.m. on Holy Saturday night. The tradition began as something of a lighthearted competition between two neighboring churches. The object of the competition? To hit the opposing church's bell tower. And moving to the most famous Paschal tradition of all, the annual miracle of the Holy Fire in the Church of the Lord's Sepulchre in Jerusalem attracted tens of thousands of pilgrims this year. In accordance with an ancient ceremony, the Patriarch of Jerusalem enters alone in the small chapel located over the bed of stone upon which the interred body of Christ lay on Holy Saturday. The Patriarch's clothing and the chapel itself is scrupulously checked in recent decades by Israeli authorities and security forces to ensure that there is no substance or item present that could artificially strike a flame. After a period of prayer, the holy fire descends miraculously, igniting the Patriarch's candle. He emerges with a light, which is quickly passed around the gathered crowds and is even flown by jet directly to Greece and Russia. The services on Pascha held in Orthodox churches around the world call to mind this annual miracle. Regardless of local traditions, everything leads to one joyous proclamation: Christ is risen. And that's it for this special Paschal edition of This Week in Orthodoxy. We'll end with our Orthodox brothers and sisters from Ghana, Africa, who beautifully captured the spirit of the resurrection with their rendition of Christ is Risen. Until next time, let's go forth in peace. For everyone here at the OCN Studios, I'm Emily Veris.